Greetings. I am Tom Earl. Welcome to the celebration. We know you could be anywhere. So the fact that you are here today in this moment, sharing your gifts, your presence, we appreciate it. I hope you know that you are valued, you are loved, and you are appreciated just as you are. As you can see, I am not alone. I have an amazing guest. They go by the name of Remy. Remy in the house. Remy, how are you, my dear friend?
Yo, I'm actually doing good after a few days of doing weird.
Okay. Well, I want to dive into what went down that was weird.
Oh man. Uh Jeez. A cold, partially cold.
Mm.
And then I'm having this like weird like thing in my shoulder. Not really like a pain, it's like a pressure. And it like comes and goes, and I don't know, attribute it to some spiritual thing, but it seems like it's going away now.
All right.
So it should be a little more focused.
Okay. Well, hey, we're going to turn our cameras off in a sec. But before we do, for the
Okay.
good folks out there who are watching the video, Remy has just, it looks like just a very intentional wall of pictures behind them. So
I
maybe do you want
do.
to pick one picture and tell
Yeah.
us a story you're comfortable sharing?
Oh my gosh. Do I have many? Oh, you know what? I want this one. You can't see behind me until I move. So this one right here
Okay.
is for any oh my god, Yu Yu Hakusho fans. This is Yusuke. And I went to teach at this middle school up the street from me in Japan. All of my schools were usually like 40 minutes to like an hour and a half out, but this school was in walking distance for once. And so they had me like introduce myself over the school PA, which was the first time that ever happened while teaching there for me. And then like afterwards, or like at the end of the day, a teacher came up and was like, a student drew this for you, but she wants to stay anonymous. So she drew this really good drawing because I told them that I like Yu Yu Hakusho. Um,
Oh, wow. That is so cool. So they drew that for you.
yeah, can I
And it's
move the
really well
camera up here
done.
a little bit?
Go ahead.
Oh yeah.
Here we go.
Ah.
For those of you listening, we're on the move. We're on the move. We're getting closer. We are getting closer. It looks amazing. The
Yeah.
details, the shading. It's amazing. Well done. Thank you for sharing.
No, yeah. Thank you for asking.
Okay.
Oh, there.
Well, we'll go ahead then from there and turn the cameras off on both of our ends and
Okay.
then whatever way is the most comfortable for you to get close to your mic. Ring lights coming off.
Ring.
That's better. Remy, what
Yes, sir.
when I asked you, do you want to be on the show? You were like, yes, I've been wanting to. Talk to me about that. What has been on your heart that you've been wanting to share on the show?
Oh gosh, I just knowing you, I don't know. You let me on. That was like 3 or 4 years ago, right? You invited me on. Is that a different show that you were
I'm
doing
Googling it. I'm Googling my own show. Was it the one for my daughter? Was it the episodes for my daughter?
I don't think so.
Was it a writing workshop?
Ooh, was it already? It might have been poetry based. Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense. But we haven't done a one-on-one like this.
No.
Okay.
And
So
and I feel like we had some unfinished talking from LA
okay,
because you were sick and I had to go in like 20 hours.
that's true. Remy stopped by our house for a night, and it happened to be a night I had food poisoning. So that was a bummer. I had plans. We were gonna stay up all night and talk.
Yeah. On that porch. Oh my gosh.
On the porch.
Porch in South Central.
There we go.
Right? Yeah.
Yep.
Wow.
Less is much detail. Let's not give any more detail about where I live.
We cannot drop any more.
That's good enough. On a porch in South Central. Well, is there anything that you have that you wanted to talk through, or would you like me to start with the first question?
You start with the first question, and then
I am going to admit I didn't get a chance to read it because I try to get off social media as quickly as possible. But I saw you made a post about your journey within spirituality and religion as it relates to Islam.
Yeah.
Did you want to talk about that?
Yeah, let's get into it. I'm glad. Yeah, you're asking. I feel like I was like, oh gosh. So I was me and Tom met through Muslims for Progressive Values, I think.
New ground. You were volunteering at the FCAR.
Oh yeah. Whoa, yeah. Okay, at that temple. At the temple there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
The one off Wilshire.
Yeah. So we went there and I was Muslim then. So I guess like reverted to Islam like 2015, I'll say. And yeah, no, like, I don't know, no hard feelings or like no regrets, I guess. It was just recently coming up, maybe like the last 3 years even. I had like stopped doing salat or like praying for like since like 2019 maybe, just because I felt like, well, no, I would get like very anxious when I would start praying, and I'd be like, okay, maybe it's just like a thing I'm like having to like overcome, and I'll just like pray through it or whatever. So I'd like keep praying, but then I really don't even know how to explain it. I just like kept trying it, but it would be like times after I like pray and I like keep praying, and then it'd be like a point where I just like couldn't move, like not like manic episode or anything, but I just like felt like I would just be like bombarded with like thoughts or something, or like, I don't know, my mind would like get so indecisive about anything and I like couldn't move. So I was like, okay, I guess I'm just not doing salat and I'll like do my Islam another way. And yeah, so that was like cool, I guess, but it was kind of weird. I really liked doing salat, having that connection. But then and then I like started back doing salat. I was like, okay, maybe it's fine after a while, after a few months. And then I like stopped again because it felt weird. And then so I was just like considering myself kind of Muslim until maybe like last year. And I don't know. I think it's hard to explain in any like physical world terms. I would feel like just like, especially in Japan, I don't know what it was. Maybe it was like partially intuition that was like that was just like flaring up or something. Cause me and my partner were like, there was like a point where we both were like, I cannot like be here. And like the work was annoying, but it wasn't too bad. But yeah, so like with the Islam thing, and then I like came back to the US, and I don't know, I think I would have moments where I'm like still like thinking about Allah or God, and I would just like, but my body would like, it would feel weird in like a very acute way. Just like, this isn't like the thing for you right now or something. And then so I determined to be like, okay, I guess I'm not Muslim, and that's cool, I guess. And then like the first time, I remember like going to this is like 2019 or 2020, 2019, I guess. I went to this mosque for like something, but I was like, okay, I'm not going to do salat. So I just like stood outside, but I guess like the people inside were like, why is this person here and like not praying? And they're like, are you Muslim? And I'm like, no, but I was still considering myself Muslim then. So that part felt like super weird.
Mm.
So even until recently, I think I've been like, why am I getting this feeling that like I have to like do a different spiritual path? I feel like super connected to this religion, to this path. But yeah, then I was like, okay, I feel like I'm still carrying like some weight of it, even knowing myself that I'm not Muslim. So I was like, I think I need to like do like a public thing. You and not help do the oh my gosh, I can't even remember anymore. But the wedding, and I was like, okay, maybe it's like something like that. Cause I'm reading online, like people, I'm like doing little Google searches or like Quora searches, like how do you like not be a Muslim? And like people are like, oh, you just like are not Muslim if you don't want to be. But I'm like still feeling it in my body in some ways. So I was like, oh, maybe it's like a public thing, like a community thing, like the wedding, like people have to know to some extent, for it to be recognized. Um, yeah. So we can, I don't know. I love to talk more about like Islam or like spiritual stuff, but that's like the me not being Muslim part.
Well, that was awesome. Thank you for sharing.
Yeah.
It's so hard to put words to the nameless.
Yeah.
And
Facts.
that's really what it is. God is unnameable, unconceivable. You cannot intellectualize what is the word we use as a placeholder for God.
Yeah.
Anytime you try to give name to it, you have effed it up. You know, and religion's whole job is to put names to everything.
Yeah.
It's
Name.
this. It is this. It's like, it's not. If you can name it, it's not it. So, you know, for me, I came to Islam from a feeling. Like I felt from a feeling place. I felt home.
Were you around Muslims then?
It was when I went to a masjid.
Okay.
The first time I ever went to one was like, I was an open mosque day. And I was like, oh, like I didn't want to leave. Like I helped them fold up the chairs. They're like, you're our guest. What are you doing? I'm like, I don't know. They're like, I stayed till after the Isha, you know, the final prayer.
Yeah.
And they're like, dude, you got to go home. And I'm like, all right. And I remember driving home and it was like, I didn't listen to any music, which I took note of.
What?
And I was like, oh man, there's like a feeling of emptiness. It's not empty. And I was really depressed. You know, like for like a longing kind of a depressed, you know, like a stay up all night
afterwards,
you know, like you stay up every night until 4 reading and just unable to sleep because your mind's just going. And then I went to the masjid and it was gone. That feeling was gone.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
And I converted within a week. In fact, so Saturday was the open mosque. I went back the following Saturday and they're like, it's that guy. Like literally, they're like, it's that guy. Because I have like white guy dreadlocks at this point, right? Yeah. So I'm noticeable. Bare, you know, I'm walking in sandals or bare feet if I can anywhere. Banana in both hands. So it's this guy, and they're like, "Yo, you're here to clean?" And I was like, "No, I'm here to convert." And it's like, somebody pushed the let's party button because it was like, oh, yeah, let's do this. And it ended up being Day of Arafat. I didn't plan that. It just ended up being Day of Arafat. So people were there to break their fast. You know what I mean?
So it was a big moment.
It was cool. And everybody, I mean, there was the mosque was filled to capacity, and every single person comes up, gives you a hug, a high five. You're the best. We got your back. And then that's kind of like that is like the highest moment. And then after that, it's all like, it's pretty much just you hope you meet some people along the way. But anywho, I think because I'm white and a convert, a lot of folks just get very like googly eyed, oh mashallah, oh my God. Like,
yeah.
Why did you convert? So all I say is people always ask why I converted. And it's like, I have, recently realized the answer is because of a feeling. And it's a very unsexy story, it's like,
go ahead. Straight to the point. And so, I don't know. It feels like that's it. Yeah.
And then the battle becomes, well, now you're a part of an institution, and institutions are inherently bigoted. They are. Institutions' job is to consolidate power. And one of the quickest ways to consolidate power is to create us versus them scenarios. I know this because I make a lot of people money, or I did. I mean, I try not to do this anymore. This is my big spiritual dilemma I had in August, is like, that's all marketing is us versus them.
When you make up that stuff, like when you have to market to someone.
Yeah. But we do it at all our lives, everywhere. Both sides of politics do it. It's like, the people you hate. Yeah. I hate them too. Oh, you do? Yeah. And the problems you have? Just so happens people you hate, it's their fault. And guess what? The people you love, I love the people you love. In fact, I think they're cool. And the people you love are discriminated against. And I think that's bad. So, lend me your ear. It's like, I will. Like, gosh, we just align. It's like, that's what people do everywhere in every aspect of our lives, but especially in religion.
Yeah. And it sucks when that part comes up.
And we're part of a religion that has experienced colonization and oppression. And so it's also like layered, that I think a lot of the like free thinking that was in Islam almost like was done away with to like persevere through the onslaught of, the Crusades, and then colonization, and then the war on terror, and then and then forced immigration because the CIA's messed up your country. Like, so it's kind of like, we kind of like stepped into that on an institution level,
Yeah. On having to be forced onto a side.
Or, it's I feel like Islam's very much in a period of like, we need to preserve or we're gonna die. And so we need to like all agree, and you need to agree with a very like rigid system, because flexibility is scary, which is a gang, not a spiritual practice.
Yeah, that is a gang. I think it was very, yeah. I didn't feel, I feel like Christianity is like so clearly like gang, or like this organized, just crusading, like still carrying that energy, but into like business or like different avenues. But I don't know. I feel like Islam, it was like, I don't know. I guess I don't know who I was around. I guess I was around slightly liberal people to be like, I don't like know about that stuff. I feel like that's not what I read or like what I agree with.
It's true, but where were we praying? People's living rooms?
Yeah.
like if you think of like if you're Christian, there are just in walking distance right now,
Mm,
probably 50 churches that I could pick
yeah.
from. And then there are churches here in LA that, women led, LGBTQ centered, the people
Uh-huh.
leading prayer, LGBTQ actively teaching scripture from trying to as much as you can, just really trying to be aware of like all that stuff. And they have
Mm-hmm.
tons of money. They like these churches might have like 10-15 million
Tons of
dollars in the
money.
bank, so they can actually
Yeah.
support their congregation. But like, first of all, what do we have in the whole city of LA? Maybe like 5 masjids. One of them was built with Saudi money. You know what I mean? It's like even the one
Definitely.
that's
You have
supposedly
to do a
very
big one.
open-minded and liberal is like is not. So,
The one in Koreatown. The Koreatown.
well, I'm not trying to
I went.
put anyone
We ain't
specific.
not gonna point no thing.
It's just more like
But yeah.
we just like it. God, it's left up to just the individ like a couple the individuals to do it, and
True.
and those of us, and usually the people who are trying to put it together are those who are the most disenfranchised by society to begin with.
Uh-huh.
So it's like I think trying to get together
Oh.
around our religion, like we have, I think in and of
Uh-huh.
itself can just be draining.
Mm.
So
Mm.
I got it. Maybe that doesn't have anything to do with any of the reasons why, you know, you reached the spiritual realization you did, but
Mm.
it can certainly feel like, well, God, I feel like I'm the only one out here. So like,
Yeah.
what's the point?
It definitely it's yeah. It's you know what I remember? I remember I was in Dallas. I was in Fort Worth and it was like Ramadan and I went to the mosque down there. And I remember it was again, I do not the thing that you're doing in Ramadan like after Isha, but there's still
Tarawih?
like yes. um I remember like it's like mostly Arab community and um the the person like delivering the Tarawih is like, do any of y'all know who El Hajj Malik El Shabazz is? And I like am the only person raising my hand.
Mm,
And that was like a weird moment. Cause
mm,
I'm like, whoa, like y'all like don't know the history for real. Like, and this isn't even like super deep, I feel like, to just know who Malcolm X is.
mm.
Yeah, so that's yeah. I mean, yeah, and yeah, I feel that what you're saying, where it is at a point you do feel like you're in Islam for the community, but then like you have to do so much work to even like build community within that to feel safe
That's a good
from
word.
your own like community, right? Because like even like some people like you can't tell people exactly where like the LGBTQ or like shared prayer spaces are because people get like are people escaping from like death threats and stuff. And then it's like, okay, you're being like charged by your own community.
Mm. Yeah, the gender roles thing and the huge emphasis on gender just just kills me. Like I was there's someone I was Facebook friends with and we know each other through uh creative communities,
Hmm.
and she was posting about how like women aren't allowed to marry, not like if you're not a Muslim,
Uh-huh.
and she's like, it's the best thing ever. It makes total sense. And like a bunch of people are posting in the comments and we're like, people who disagree with that just don't understand men should be the heads of households. And oh god, just made me want to just throw up. It's just like,
Uh-huh.
oh god. And somehow spirituality justifies this very clearly human created box,
Mhm.
like infinite. God is infinite. There is no binary in infinity. I don't get it.
Yo.
I don't get how it's just like, all right, my friends. So God is infinity, right? Do we agree? Okay. Where does infinity start and end? What is the opposite of infinity? None. So fucking there's your metric.
There is the
There's your
metric.
metric. So how can there be a binary in infinity?
Yeah. Are you bounding this thing? Bounding this thing's creation thing.
So I think shit like that makes me feel sometimes alone,
Mhm.
you know. So I get it.
Yeah. I mean, I was telling my friend, and she was like, because I was telling her how I came about it, and I was like, I don't know. I like the Muslim kids that I met at my undergrad. They were like super like even the ones who weren't like Muslim, but it's like these group of like Arab kids, and like most of them were Muslim, but they were like they just seemed like super like studious. They're like smart, and then also had like I don't know. I feel like we see Christianity, and it's like, oh, we like pray, but we need like we don't need it, but like it's like a huge ass church, or like it's just like all this like ceremony, and then but like looking at like Muslims and like I mean maybe it's like a super image thing, but like just praying so consistently or like not specifically like needing like a huge space. Which I guess saying that I don't think Christians need like a huge space or anything like that, but I am used to like Catholic churches. Like my mom would go to this like one of those just like mega churches that is just
Mm.
like an IKEA, but like a church. Um, those things. And then yeah, and I like met this Indonesian girl in Japan. She was Muslim, and she was like probably still like one of the sweetest people I've like met. Just like I don't know, just like such a nice person. But my friend was like, "Oh, maybe you just like wanted like community," and I guess to like some extent that is there. Um, yeah, I forgot where I was going, but yeah,
Well, I think you're just naming the like and that's the part is that because of white supremacy and colonization and forced schooling and the forced of the war on even speaking languages other than English and all of it, it's very much
yeah,
we've been forced to access the world with the intellect, rational mind, superior way. And the
yeah,
people who are never satisfied, who have a gaping hole, and it can only be filled by taking and controlling everything. You know, that is the mindset that we are all forced to be socialized into. And
yeah,
so we're constantly, those of us who access the world through intuition and feeling, it's like, you're weird. I need you to explain to me in logical, rational words what it is you're feeling, or you're weird, you're dumb, it doesn't make sense, get out of here. And so it's like this constant, like,
yes,
well,
yeah.
I mean, can't you just like, don't you just kind of feel it too? It's like, no, where it's
You
like a history
know,
paper. Show me
yeah.
your footnotes. Show me the footnotes. Show me the footnotes. Like, I got nothing. I quit.
I quit.
You win. Okay, my dear friend, we're about to run
Yeah.
over on this episode. So for those of you
Okay.
listening, Remy is going to be here for the next 4 episodes.
Oh, snaps.
So we will start off the next episode. We're going to continue talking about spirituality. I'm going to share a little bit why, for me, despite all this, or not in spite, or kind of like, well, what is the word? I think we should start. Let's start with the
Okay.
word. You know, like, well, for me, I'm going to start what the
The
feeling
word.
Islam means to me.
Okay.
Because that I still I still resonate with being Muslim. And then I want to see how it bounces off you, and then we'll see where else this goes. I also want us to talk a little bit about music, art, those kind of things. So that's what y'all have to look forward to next week. Remy, we have a tradition. We have a ritual for closing. But before we do that, do you want people to reach out to you to tell you they love you?
Please do. You can hit me up on Instagram for real. It's yummy__online. That's the IG handle.
We got it. We'll have it in the show notes otherwise. Our closing ritual. What is it that you'd like the good folks out there? Your invitation. You're going to extend to them an invitation. What would you like to invite them to do, to be, to think about, to evolve into, to reflect upon? What is your invitation?
My invitation, because I've been thinking about this lately, is write a prayer for yourself. Yeah.
That instantly what comes to my mind is and say a little prayer for you. You know that one?
Yes. I hear it, but I can't put the rest of it in.
It's like the morning I wake up, before I put on my makeup, I say a little prayer for you. You know that
one? I do.
Leon
I know it's a very melodious song.
Leon LaHavis's cover of that song is my favorite cover of it. I know a lot of folks cover it. Okay, there we go. We got some music in there. Why don't we end on a high note?
Okay.
And we will see you all next week. Remy, I appreciate you. Good golly, Miss Molly. Does the 30 minutes go by quick?
Wait a minute. Oh my God. Good golly, Miss Molly.
All right. We'll end it there. Appreciate y'all. As always, we're wishing you peace and blessings. Thank you.
Peace.
Oh, one more thing. I'd love to continue the conversation. Feel free to join me at tomearl.com/join. Subscribe below, or let's connect on social media. Tom Earl Artist. Thanks again for watching.